Hello everybody, thank you for joining me on this beautiful Friday evening. I'm happy that you are here. I'm happy to be here. Today we're going to talk about hand washing basics. So let's go ahead and get started. First, introduction. My name is Amanda Ford. I am an LPN. I study at Indiana State University. I am a senior level LPN to BSN student, and my population at risk is middle school adolescents. I spent this time this semester shadowing or precepting with a middle school nurse and really enjoyed it. I got to see middle school again that I haven't seen in a very long time. It was definitely interesting. Times have changed though, and but I still really enjoyed it. Today our objectives are why hand washing is important. We're going to talk about how germs spread. We're going to talk about when to wash our hands. We're going to discuss proper steps to hand washing. And we're also going to talk about the use of hand sanitizer and proper hand sanitizer use. However, before we get into that, we are going to take a pre-test. It's a pretty short test, not too hard, so don't get too worked up about it. It's quick, simple, and it will be over before you know it. So go ahead and take that, and we will discuss it and continue with the presentation in just a moment. Alright, that wasn't too bad, right? That's simple. Alright, so first, why is hand washing important? We're always hearing about wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, but why? Hand washing is the #1 way to keep yourself healthy. If we can keep you healthy, that means we can keep the community healthy, because that means we keep your households healthy, and then they don't go out and spread the sickness to people they work with or people they go to school with. We just keep everybody healthy, and hand washing is the #1 way to do that. It really does not get any simpler than that. Let's talk about germs. I really enjoy this picture. It reminds me of the current virus that's going on right now, but I also really enjoy the colors. Germs. They are not welcome, but what are they? First, there are 4 types of germs. We have bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa. Bacteria lives off the environment, which is usually, not always, our bodies, but usually when we think about bacteria, we think about bacteria that makes us sick. So the environment in that situation would be our body. Depending on what kind of bacteria it is, because there's lots, will determine what they need to grow. Viruses, essentially, they need, as their environment is our body also. However, what they do is they take over our cells. So once they enter our body, they find our cells and they make those cells their homes. And then once they do that, the cell has now become them, and then they replicate, and that's how viruses reproduce. Fungi feeds off plants, people, and animals. On our bodies, fungi likes to grow in warm, moist places, kind of like armpits and areas like that. Protozoa is a one-cell organism. We don't hear much about that unless we're talking about malaria, which usually spreads via water, and you hear a lot about overseas in places that don't have the same water sanitation infrastructure that we do. So how do germs spread? Germs spread through the air, coughing, sneezing, and what I just learned recently through this COVID outbreak is singing. We had a situation here in Washington State where a whole bunch of people got sick after attending a choir recital. Somebody in there was sick, infected already, and singing, and got a lot more people sick. Another way is handshaking. Germ transfer happens when you shake somebody's dirty hand that hasn't been washed. That's why it is better to give a high five, even though you can get germ transfer that way. Fist bump, usually I just like to wave. And then germs also spread by unwashed hands. Self-explanatory. Germs spread by bad food and water. Bacteria, protozoa, fungi, those grow bad food, water. Kind of like we talked about with malaria, that would be water. Bacteria, a good example would be salmonella or E. coli on chicken or meat if it's not cooked all the way. And that would be a way that bacteria transfers. And then another way bacteria transfers is contact with body fluids. Ungloved hands taking care of people where you're coming into contact with body fluids, saliva, urine, and then also changing babies' diapers. And then you can also spread it by kissing, just like I said, saliva. So when bacteria transfers, it's very easy to get people sick when you're not washing your hands. This is kind of like a visual. You start out with the first person who gets sick, and let's just say for this purpose that one person gets 2 people sick. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So this one person gets these 2 people sick, and then each of those people get 2 more people sick, and then each more 2 people, and then each more 2 people. So you can see how sickness spreads pretty easy with unwashed hands and people not staying home when they're already sick. This is a good example of bacteria transfer from coughing through the air. This one, germs, especially bad ones, like COVID-19, which we're currently dealing with, can spread quickly if not careful. Even if this gentleman was to put his hand in front of his mouth when he was coughing, all of those germs and saliva would end up on his hands. And if he didn't wash his hands right away and say he went to go shake somebody's hand, germ transfer right there. Let's talk about the perfect times to wash your hands. Before and after eating, before and after cooking, contact with contaminated items like raw chicken, a dirty bathroom, somebody whose hands haven't been washed. You want to wash your hands after using the restroom. You want to wash your hands after coming in contact with chemicals. You want to wash your hands after being outside. And you also want to wash your hands after caring for others who are sick. Lastly, sneezing and coughing into your hands is a good time to wash your hands. So here are the 5 steps made easy to wash your hands. Step 1, you are going to get your hands wet. Step 2, you're going to get some soap. Step 3, you're going to lather up good. Lots of rubbing hands together makes bubbles. You want to wash your hands for 20 seconds. Make sure you get under your nails, between your fingers, back of your hands, everywhere. You are going to rinse. You're going to get a clean paper towel, dry your hands, get another paper towel, and turn off the water. Simple as that. 5 easy steps. The last thing, hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer works when you do not have soap. Essentially, you just pump the hand sanitizer in your hand and rub your hands together just like you're washing your hands until it's dry. That's it. So just go ahead and take your post test. It's not too long, not too hard. You should be super easy now that we've gone over all the information, and thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.